Most designers think they need more followers, more certificates, or even a better laptop before they can make real money in design. But after years as a product designer, I can tell you that that's not true. Today, I'm exposing 7 lies that are stopping you from making real money and what actually gets you paid. If you're a freelancer, a junior designer, or just a beginner starting your career in design, and you're wondering how or why the money isn't coming in despite all the efforts that you're putting in, then this video is for you. These are mistakes that I've made myself, and I think if you avoid them, you'll make progress much faster down your career path. Number one, you need thousands of followers. That is so not true. People think clients only hire the most popular designers, but in reality, clients only hire the designers that can help them solve real problems. For example, some of my biggest opportunities came through referrals and networking and not through viral posts. In all of my design career, I've never really prioritized going on online job platforms like Fiverr, Upwork, or LinkedIn. Not that these platforms don't work, but they've not worked for me. What actually worked for me is the connections that I make from people that I meet and the referrals that I get from the people who love my work. And so they give my name to their friends, they give my contact to their friends, and they'll be like, oh, I know this guy, he's a great designer, you would enjoy working with him. That is what gets me most of my clients and not through viral posts. So some of your biggest gigs or your biggest projects might come from someone you didn't expect. It can be your neighbor. And even if that's not the person, then they could be the person that actually gets to refer you to the person that can give you a really good gig or a good job. So it's not really about how many thousand followers that you have on social media. It's really about the people you connect with, you network with. And that is why networking is very important as a designer. So this is your call to build more relationships before you build followers. Number two, more certificates mean more clients. Certificates only prove that you took a course and you finished it to the end. Nothing more, nothing less. It doesn't really mean that you didn't learn anything in the process, but that's not really what clients are looking for. Clients come to you because they have a problem. And for them to work with you, they need to know that you can actually help them solve their problems. So your certificates do very little in helping convince them of that. And since clients care about results, here are what you should do instead. Build real life projects, redesign existing products, create detailed case studies in your portfolios. So these things would actually show the clients that you actually know what you're doing rather than just having a couple of certificates lined up on your portfolio. Number three is a better laptop will make you better. No. Most designers delay starting their career because they think they need the right gear, the fancy gears, the most expensive gears. But in reality, most great works have been done on average laptops. So you have to invest in your skills before you invest in hardware. Because it's not really about the hardware. You don't deliver your hardware to your clients. You deliver the work done using those hardwares. So you have to build up your skill set. You have to make yourself better at everything that you're doing down your design career before you think of investing in some really expensive gadgets or hardware, because in the end it is the results that matter and not the tools that was used in getting to those results. Number four is you need 100 portfolio projects. You don't really need lots of projects lined up in your portfolio. You only need a few detailed and really good case studies in your portfolio. Quality always beats quantity. Having three outstanding case studies in your portfolio beats having 100 mediocre design or average designs. Here's what you should do. Tell the story behind your designs. Pick up a problem, document your process, document your decisions, and then show your outcomes. If you tell a story using your design, it means you'll be able to communicate well to whoever is reading it and he can understand what your process looks like when they work with you. And that gives you more advantage rather than having hundreds of case studies lined up, because in reality, it is not even everyone that has time to go through all of them. Number five is good design speaks for itself. Well, I'm kind of inclined to agree with this one because, yes, in most cases or in some cases, good design does speak for itself, but you need to also be able to communicate the decisions or the rationale behind these designs. If you can't explain why you made certain decisions, why some of these elements are present in your designs, or why businesses should care about your designs, then you're simply not communicating enough. Because good communication is also a design skill. You have to be able to communicate your designs appropriately to someone who is interested in them for them to know why this design should matter. And so, in as much as good design might speak for itself, you should also be able to communicate the ideas behind your designs. Number 6 is you must learn every design tool. Whew. Figma, Framer, Adobe XD, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, After Effects, Premiere Pro. You don't need to learn all of these tools. You only need to master one workflow really, really perfectly or really, really good. Be really good at it. Once you're able to master one workflow and be really good at it, you can work with anyone. Businesses hire people that help them solve problems and not people that are collecting software. So pick one industry standard software that is relevant in your field and then master the workflow using that tool. Then use it to come up with your designs. You don't need to learn all of the tools that are out there. Number 7 is being a great designer is enough. And that is one of the biggest lies in this field. You being a great designer is never enough. If nobody knows you, then nobody sees you. And if nobody sees you, then you don't get paid. You need to be able to communicate, you need to be able to understand business, and you also need to be able to understand psychology. If you can't sell your ideas, if you can't sell your designs, then you always struggle. So the first step is putting yourself out there, let people see you, let people know what you do, and then communicate with them in a way that makes sense to the problem that they're trying to solve. The highest paid designers are people who know a bit about psychology, a bit about business, and more about design. So combining these skills help make you a good designer and positions you as someone that people can go to help solve their problems. The designers making the most money aren't always the best or the most talented designers. They are the ones who solve problems clearly, communicate really good, and put themselves in front of people. And not just any type of people, the right people. So stop overloading yourself with information that you don't act upon. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions and start creating work that demonstrates the kind of value that you bring to the team or to your clients. Tell me which of these lies you've believed the longest in the comment section. I read every one of them and I'm going to reply. And if you want more tips about freelancing, design, and building products, then subscribe to this channel because I'll be uploading more videos soon and I'll see you in the next videos. Peace.